The case I'm going to share with you today took place on Jeju Island, located in the southwest sea of South Korea. This is the country's largest island, renowned for its stunning natural scenery and a major tourist attraction. It's considered an ideal destination for tourism and relaxation. In Jeju City, located in the northeast of Jeju Island, there was a woman named Koh Yu Jeon, born on February 2, 1983. At the time, she was 36 years old, 5 feet 3 inches tall, and weighed 110 pounds. Koh Yu Jeon had 2 younger brothers. Her parents divorced shortly after the 3 children were born. Her father ran a car rental business on Jeju Island, and the family was wealthy, owning properties both on Jeju Island and in Gimpo City. After the divorce, her father remarried, and Koh, along with her 2 brothers, lived with their father and stepmother. Koh Yu Jeon was intelligent and had an outstanding academic record. Her classmates described her as having a normal personality, but being sweet and lively. After graduating from high school, she was accepted into Jeju National University, the best university on Jeju Island and one of the top 20 universities in South Korea. During this time, Koh participated in a volunteer event on campus where she met Kang, who attended the same university and was the same age as her. They shared similar interests and gradually developed feelings for each other, leading to a beautiful love story that lasted 6 years. They were inseparable, often volunteering abroad and traveling together. After some time of dating, the couple decided to register their marriage in June 2013. Finally, when they turned 31, they held a grand wedding on Jeju Island. After the wedding, they embarked on a blissful honeymoon. However, being in love and being married are 2 entirely different things. On the last day of their trip, just as they were about to fly home, they had a heated argument at the airport. The issue arose because the plane was about to take off, but despite her husband's urging, Koh insisted on going to the duty-free shop to shop. At that moment, the final boarding call had already been announced, and after a futile argument, Kang, angry, wanted to board the plane alone. However, according to airline regulations, since they had round-trip tickets for 2, both passengers needed to board the plane at the same time. Reluctantly, Kang went to find his wife, but by the time they returned, they had missed their flight. Once they returned to Jeju Island, the tension between them temporarily subsided, and they began their new life together. At that time, Kang was pursuing his PhD and didn't have a full-time job. His primary income came from scholarships and part-time work. Koh, on the other hand, came from a wealthy family and didn't need to work. Her father would occasionally give her money. However, she spent lavishly, and Kang frequently complained about her excessive spending on unnecessary things. Moreover, their different family backgrounds led to changes in their roles within the household. Koh never took on any housework. Every day, Kang would work in the lab, and when he returned home, he had to clean up the trash in the house, the kitchen, and so on. Since becoming husband and wife, the couple began experiencing intense conflicts. A year after getting married, in November 2014, they had a son. Raising a child added significant expenses, leading to a financial crisis for the couple. Koh was dissatisfied with their situation, and her temper grew increasingly irritable. Whenever things didn't go her way, she would scold her husband, and at times, even physically assault him. On one occasion, Koh was so displeased with something Kang did that she threw a cell phone at him, injuring his eye. Although they had dated for 6 years before getting married and had a certain understanding of each other's personalities. After the wedding, Koh seemed to become a completely different person, aggressive and unable to control her temper. Kang's friends noticed that he often had scars on his body. When one of his friends asked him about it, Kang explained everything. The friend was puzzled and asked, "Did she ever behave like this during the 6 years you were dating?" Kang firmly replied that she had not, and he expressed that it must be postpartum depression, as she was under a lot of stress and would eventually get better. So he chose to endure his wife's unreasonable beatings without resisting. However, things did not improve for his wife. Once, Koh picked up a sharp object and held their 1-year-old son in her arms while threatening Kang. Witnessing this scene terrified him. After 3 years of marriage, they continued to face ongoing instability in their relationship. Kang initially thought that his patience would eventually resolve things, but in the end, he could no longer tolerate his wife's behavior and decided to initiate a divorce. The missing person is identified as Kang, 36 years old, recently divorced and living alone. 2 days ago, on May 25, 2019, he drove alone to meet his son. According to the investigation, 2 years after the divorce, Koh harbored resentment toward her ex-husband. Kang had repeatedly requested to see his son, but Koh always refused for various reasons. She even ignored his phone calls, and when Kang showed up at her house, she stubbornly refused to open the door. Despite living frugally to pursue his PhD, Kang never failed to send Koh 400,000 won, approximately 300 USD each month. On holidays and his son's birthdays, Kang always sent gifts. He missed his son dearly and longed to see him every day. However, for reasons unknown, Koh consistently refused to allow any meetings. For Kang, the 2 years without seeing his son left him feeling restless and agitated. Since Koh persistently prevented him from seeing his child, he had no choice but to file a lawsuit with the court in hopes of gaining visitation rights. The court subsequently ordered Koh to allow Kang to meet his son by May 25, 2019. Reluctantly, Koh agreed, though she was uneasy about it. On May 25, 2019, Koh and Kang arranged to meet. She would bring their son to an amusement park in Seogwipo City, on the southern part of Jeju Island, to meet him. This was the first time Kang would see his son after 2 years of separation. Kang's younger brother reported, "Around 8 p.m. I called my brother, but there was no answer. At 9:25 p.m. I sent a message asking if the outing had ended. By 10:25 p.m. he replied saying, 'It's done. I have some work to do at the lab and am on my way there. My phone is about to die.' Since then, I haven't been able to contact him, and his phone has been turned off. The family assumed Kang was still at the university lab. However, 2 days later, on May 27, 2019, when Kang's younger brother went to his school to look for him, he discovered that Kang had not been in the lab or at the university for the past 2 days. After a preliminary investigation, the police believed that Kang might have had a dispute with his ex-wife during the visit with his son, which led him to turn off his cell phone. They attempted to contact Kang's ex-wife to understand the situation. When questioned by the police, she appeared calm and confident. She stated, "On May 25, 2019, I took my son to meet my ex-husband. We went to the amusement park and later checked into a pre-booked guest house. However, that night, when we went to bed, he tried to make unwanted advances toward me. After I resisted strongly, he tried to leave through the back door. My son and I checked out the next day and left. I didn't see him again after that." Based on Koh's account, the police believed that Kang might have gone into hiding after the incident with his ex-wife and would return once the tension subsided. However, Kang's younger brother disagreed with their assessment, so he decided to personally investigate the guest house where his brother had stayed that day. He discovered that Koh had rented a guest house without surveillance cameras, but fortunately, there was a camera about 30 meters away from the guest house. With the permission of the nearby property owner, he obtained the surveillance footage, which contradicted Koh's story. Strangely, the video only showed his brother entering the guest house, with no footage of him leaving. Additionally, he found that Koh had not been truthful, as the surveillance video revealed that Koh did not check out the next day as she claimed. Instead, she stayed an additional day and a half before leaving. The guest house owner also mentioned that Koh had requested not to be disturbed during their stay. This further alarmed Kang's brother, giving him a very bad feeling. He immediately handed the surveillance video over to the police, which showed Koh and her son leaving on the morning of May 26, 2019, but there was no sign of Kang. Later, Koh returned to the guest house at noon on May 27, 2019. She left the guest house alone, carrying her luggage. Upon reviewing the video, the police realized that Kang's disappearance might not be as straightforward as they initially thought. Recognizing the shortcomings in the initial investigation, the case was immediately handed over to the Criminal Investigation Department. The investigators went to the guest house and conducted a luminol test in the room where Kang had stayed. Luminol is a synthetic organic compound that can detect bloodstains that have been cleaned and are invisible to the naked eye. Through the luminol test, investigators found a large amount of blood in the living room, bedroom, kitchen, and bathroom of the guest house. They also discovered some bloodstains that were visible to the naked eye. Forensic tests revealed that the blood belonged to Kang, Koh's ex-husband. Additionally, they found traces of sleeping pills in Kang's blood. Based on the evidence gathered, Koh became a prime suspect in the crime. The police then quickly raided Koh's residence in Cheongju City. During the search, they also found suspicious items in her car. However, Koh was not at home, and the investigators continued to monitor and stake out the area. At 10:32 a.m. the following day, on June 3, 2019, Koh appeared in the parking lot of her residence. The police immediately arrested Koh on suspicion of premeditated murder. On that day, her right hand was bandaged, and she was holding a cardboard box, preparing to dispose of some trash. Koh denied the accusation of murdering her ex-husband on the spot. However, on the way to the police station, a female officer asked Koh, "Did you kill your ex-husband?" Koh calmly responded, "I'm killing him." The police found some dismemberment tools and a blood-stained towel in the trash at Koh's apartment. Test results showed that the blood on the towel belonged to Kang, and traces of sleeping pills were also found in his blood. 2 weeks before the incident, on May 10, 2019, Koh began using her phone and computer to search for keywords such as murder tools, dismemberment, sleeping pills, and human bone weight. A week before the incident, on May 17, 2019, Koh claimed to suffer from insomnia and received a prescription for sleeping pills from a hospital 20 kilometers from her home. She purchased the sleeping pills at a nearby pharmacy and then drove to her hometown on Jeju Island via ferry. 5 days before the incident, on May 20, 2019, Koh contacted her ex-husband and intentionally booked a room at a remote, secluded B&B without surveillance cameras. On May 22, 2019, she bought knives, brushes, cleaning supplies, and other items at a supermarket on Jeju Island, even making sure to collect loyalty points during checkout. 2 days before the incident, on the night of May 23, 2019, she attended a party with friends, chatting cheerfully, with no one suspecting that a meticulously planned murder was about to unfold. On the day of the incident, at 8:30 a.m. on May 25, 2019, Kang dressed up, took the gift he had bought for his son, and left the house. He was as excited as if he had won the lottery, thrilled to finally see his beloved son after years of separation. Kang drove alone from his home in Jeju City. Dashcam footage from his car showed him driving at 9:30 a.m. in a very good mood, even humming a happy tune as he went. He could be heard murmuring to himself, "I'm going to see my son." His destination was an amusement park in Seogwipo City, on the southern part of Jeju Island. At 11:30 a.m., Kang arrived at the amusement park and met his son. Just as he had hoped, they had a joyful time together, even though Koh harbored resentment toward Kang and had a murder plot in mind. Outwardly, however, she maintained a calm and gentle demeanor, showing no signs of anything unusual. Koh's indifferent psychological state shocked the police during the investigation and misled the direction of their inquiry. By 3 p.m., the three of them left the amusement park and went shopping at a supermarket in Seogwipo City until 4:20 p.m. After a fun-filled day, the three of them got into Koh's car and headed to a guest house in Joseon, Jeju City, which Koh had booked in advance. At 9 p.m., Koh put her son to bed first, then pretended to be caring by cooking dinner for Kang. However, this wasn't just an ordinary curry. It was laced with a large amount of sleeping pills. Feeling drowsy, Kang went to bed early, unaware that the moment he fell asleep would also be the moment his life would end. While Kang was in a daze, Koh suddenly attacked him with a knife. Bloodstain analysis at the scene indicated that before he died, Kang realized Koh was attacking him and attempted to resist. But unfortunately, the sleeping pills had taken strong effect, leaving him powerless, and he tragically died at the hands of his ex-wife. At 9:30 p.m., Kang's younger brother sent a text message to his brother's phone asking, Has your trip ended today? At that time, Koh was in the room, thinking of ways to cover up her crime. At 10:30 p.m., Koh took Kang's phone and, mimicking his tone and texting style, replied to the message. The day after the incident, on the morning of May 26, 2019, Koh took her son to her parents' house, then returned to the guest house to dispose of the body and checked out the next day at noon. Surveillance footage shows her taking several garbage bags and a suitcase from the room, loading them into the trunk of her car, and then disposing of them at a garbage collection station. Around 1:00 p.m., Koh checked into another guest house and removed a large suitcase from her car. The surveillance video showed that she was still holding Kang's phone while chatting with her friend as if nothing had happened. At 3:00 p.m., Koh changed clothes and left the hotel. When she returned at 6:00 p.m., the police noticed that her hand was now wrapped in bandages. According to medical records, Koh had visited a hospital to treat stab wounds. The injury on the outside of her right arm was particularly severe and required stitches. In other words, during that time, Koh had continued dismembering parts of the body in the room and had accidentally injured herself. 2 days after the incident, on May 28, 2019, Koh went back to the supermarket where she had previously purchased the tools to return the unused items, including a bottle of cleaning detergent. She also bought 10 special garbage bags, a backpack, rubber gloves, perfume, and cosmetics at the supermarket. At 8:30 p.m., Koh drove to the ferry terminal and purchased a ticket from Jeju Island to Wando Island. The surveillance camera recorded her entire ticket purchase process. After an hour on the ferry, Koh took several unidentified bags from the suitcase and threw them into the sea when no one was watching. She then used her phone to order a large cutting knife, with the delivery address being her apartment in Gimpo City. At 11 p.m., the ferry docked, and Koh drove through the night to Gimpo, a satellite city of Seoul. The next morning, she went to a supermarket to buy dust-proof clothing. After returning home, Koh continued the process of dismembering the body, then disposed of the garbage bags at the apartment complex's waste collection station. The police attempted to trace the movement of the garbage bags and later found some bones at a waste collection company in Seo-gu, Incheon. However, the bones were later confirmed to be those of animals. On May 30, 2019, Koh drove to her husband's home in Cheongju. She confided in her current husband, saying, "While I was on Jeju Island, my ex-husband almost assaulted me." She even showed him 2 text messages allegedly sent by Kang. "I'm sorry I got so worked up last night. For the sake of my career, could you please not let this get out?" Of course, both of these messages were actually sent by Koh using Kang's phone. At the time, Koh was also injured, so her husband, Hong, believed her story. In a fit of anger, he immediately called Kang, but his phone was turned off. Hong then proceeded to call Kang's younger brother to scold him and accuse his brother of despicable behavior. This incident shows just how cunning and dangerous Koh was. After Koh was arrested, she admitted to killing her ex-husband, but insisted that it was an act of self-defense because he tried to assault her, leaving her with no other choice at the time. However, this was only Koh's version of events, without any supporting evidence. Based on the evidence gathered, the police believed that Koh committed a premeditated crime and that her motive was the belief that her ex-husband was interfering with her current marriage. The police suspect that Koh dismembered her ex-husband after killing him and disposed of the body parts in 3 main locations: Jeju City, the ferry route between Jeju Port and Wando Port, and Gimpo City. The Coast Guard conducted searches in the waters near the ferry route, collecting any floating or washed-up items. Strangely, though, they were unable to find any of Kang's body parts. The police estimate that within just 5 days, Koh traveled across nearly half of South Korea and disposed of the garbage bags containing her ex-husband's body parts at approximately 30 different disposal sites. After the incident was reported by the media, it caused a massive shockwave across South Korea. The public could not believe the cruel and barbaric actions of this woman. Koh's defense attorney initially had to withdraw from the case due to the overwhelming pressure from public opinion. What's even more frightening is that after committing the crime, she calmly went shopping for tools to dispose of the evidence, all while making sure to accumulate loyalty points at the supermarket. She even brazenly returned the unused bottle of bleach to the store. Even experts were astonished, stating that this was far from the behavior of a normal person. They suggested that Koh might suffer from borderline personality disorder, a condition characterized by extreme sensitivity in relationships, emotional instability, and an unclear sense of personal goals or life purpose. Her act of returning the items she had purchased for the crime is considered a possible indication of this disorder. Additionally, her impulsive and violent behavior, such as the brutal murder and dismemberment, followed by her ability to remain calm and carry on as if nothing had happened, further supports this theory. Experts believe that borderline personality disorder is often influenced by improper parenting during childhood. A few days after Koh's arrest, on June 5, 2019, the Jeju Police Department requested permission from the victim's family to publicly release Koh's personal information. In fact, Koh had always hidden her face in front of the media and insisted that the police not disclose her personal details. She also stated to the police, "I would rather die than have my face exposed because of my son." The police then agreed to conceal her face as much as possible. However, before they could make an official announcement, some internet users discovered and posted Koh's photos and name online. In a short time, the phrase "the evil witch Koh Yu Jeon" became infamous across the country and was a trending search topic for several days. On August 27, 2019, Kang's funeral was held at the Jeju City Funeral Home. However, his body parts were never found, and at the funeral, his family could only hold a service with 7 strands of hair that the police had collected from his favorite hat, along with some of his personal belongings placed in the coffin. The police concluded that this was a carefully planned murder, but Koh steadfastly maintained that she acted in self-defense. So who is telling the truth? The police speculated that the victim, Kang, was 5'11", tall, weighed 176 pounds, and had a strong build, while the perpetrator, Koh Yu Jeon, was only 5'3", and weighed 110 pounds, with a petite frame. It's hard to imagine that a small woman like her could kill a tall and muscular man. The police did not rule out the possibility of an accomplice, but Koh insisted that she committed the crime alone and remained silent about other details of the case. However, at this point, the police took notice of a strange event that might be related to a previous case involving Koh. 2 months before Kang's murder, on Saturday, March 2, 2019, at 10 a.m., Koh's current husband, Hong, woke up in bed and turned to find his son lying face down next to him. When he looked closer, he saw that his son's mouth was bleeding. Hong, in a panic, checked his son and was horrified to find that he was no longer breathing and his heart had stopped. Hong, who worked at the fire department and had some first aid knowledge, quickly performed CPR on his son and asked his wife to call for an ambulance. When the paramedics arrived, his son was pronounced dead. The police then launched an investigation into the incident. It is known that both Koh and Hong were in their second marriages and each had a son from their previous relationships. The 2 boys were the same age. After getting married, Koh and Hong sent their sons to live with their parents and led a private life together. Later, Koh became pregnant, but unfortunately, she suffered a miscarriage. This event was a severe psychological blow to Koh. From that point on, her personality began to change. She became irritable and frequently angry with Hong. On October 18, 2018, Koh and Hong had a heated argument at home. In a fit of anger, Koh left the house. 5 days later, on October 23, 2018, Koh contacted Hong and accused him of posting information about her and her son online. Hong was confused because he had only wanted to share with family and friends that he had 2 sons and didn't want to hide the fact that he had remarried. His explanation did not satisfy Koh, so they continued their Cold War, living separately. A week later, on October 31, 2018, Koh returned home once while Hong was at work, took the computer from the house, and left again. During their time apart, Hong repeatedly called Koh to try to reconcile. Nearly a month later, on November 14, 2018, after Hong's heartfelt persuasion, Koh decided to return to their home in Cheongju. After returning home, Koh told Hong, "We don't need to have more children. We can bring our sons to live together as a family of 4. Hong was surprised by his wife's suggestion because, after they married, he had often proposed the idea of bringing their 2 boys home, but Koh had always dismissed and rejected it. After coming back home, Koh finally agreed, which made Hong feel that his wife was changing for the better. 3 months later, on February 28, 2019, Hong brought his son to their home in Cheongju. But for some reason, Koh delayed bringing her own son home. Hong was very happy when his son arrived, but on the first night, Koh claimed she wasn't feeling well and suggested that she sleep in a separate room. Hong was understanding, knowing that they had just reunited and would need time to adjust. Sleeping in separate rooms seemed normal, so Hong slept in the master bedroom with his son, while Koh slept alone in the adjacent bedroom. 2 days later, around 8 p.m. on March 1st, 2019, Koh prepared curry for dinner. Both Hong and his son enjoyed the curry very much. At 9:45 p.m., Hong's son said he was sleepy, so Hong took him to bed. After his son fell asleep, Hong went back to the living room to read. At that time, Koh brought him a cup of hot tea. Hong enjoyed the tea while reading, feeling relaxed. At midnight, he started to feel sleepy and went to bed, lying down next to his son and quickly falling asleep. The next morning, Hong woke up as usual and saw that it was already 7:30 a.m. Because the curtains were still closed, the room was quite dark. He instinctively turned to check on his son, who was still soundly asleep beside him. Since it was a Saturday and he didn't have to work, Hong decided to sleep in until 10 a.m. When he woke up, he discovered that his son had passed away. Following the incident, the police interrogated both Koh and Hong. Hong told the police, "The night before, my son ate curry and played with me for a while before going to bed. The next morning, I found him deceased." Koh stated, "That night, I didn't sleep in the same room as my husband and his son, so I don't know what happened in that room, nor do I know why the boy suddenly vomited a lot of blood and died." After the incident, Koh was quickly ruled out as a suspect, while Hong remained the primary person of interest for the Cheongju City Police. Some investigators believed that he had not performed CPR on his son. However, the paramedics who arrived at the scene that day confirmed that when they arrived, Hong was indeed performing CPR on his son. Hong was investigated 5 times by the police in connection with his son's death and even agreed to a polygraph test, which he passed successfully. The autopsy report indicated that the cause of death was asphyxiation, and there was no mention of any drugs or toxins in the body. That night, no one else was in the house except the couple, and they had no apparent motive to harm their son. After some time investigating, the police announced the closure of the case and concluded that Hong had accidentally placed his leg on his son's back while sleeping for an extended period, causing the boy to suffocate and die in his sleep. The incident is estimated to have occurred around 5 a.m. Hong woke up once around 7:30 a.m., at which point his son had already died, but due to the dim lighting in the room, he didn't notice. It wasn't until 10 a.m., when he fully woke up, that he realized something was wrong. Unfortunately, after Koh's ex-husband was murdered, Hong started to have more thoughts and became frightened. He recalled that Koh had served him and his son curry for dinner, just like when she planned to kill Kang. Not only that, but she also gave him a cup of tea, after drinking which Hong gradually felt sleepy. Reflecting on the situation, Hong was shocked and said, "I'm not sure if Koh put sleeping pills in the curry, but it's too strange to dismiss as a coincidence. My son fell asleep 2 hours after eating the curry." The investigation revealed that 3 months before his son's death, Koh had purchased some sleeping pills in Cheongju to treat her insomnia. This was during the time when Koh had left home and then returned. There were rumors that when Hong woke up, he found his leg on top of his son, which implied that Hong admitted his negligence led to his son's death. However, Hong stated, "I never said that," and pointed out that even the description of the bloodstains, the police's statements, and his own account didn't match. Hong claimed, There was so much blood on the bed that it soaked into the blanket and mattress. It looked very unusual, but the police never paid attention to that evidence. Even after the investigation ended, they allowed Koh to bring the blankets and mattress back into the house, but now all those items have been discarded by Koh. Hong expressed doubts about the autopsy results for his son. According to the autopsy, there was a straight indentation on the boy's back. Hong argued that if he had placed his leg on his son's back, the indentation would have been diagonal, not straight. At that time, the police did not provide the final and complete autopsy report. It wasn't until June 1, 2019, when Koh was arrested, that Hong received the full and final autopsy report for his son. Amid public pressure, the Jeju City Police reopened the investigation into Hong's son's death. Investigators went to the Jeju City prison to interrogate Koh. Faced with police questions, Koh firmly denied any involvement in the death of her stepson. So, can an adult accidentally suffocate a child while sleeping? The answer is yes, but certain conditions must be met. First, the adult must be in a deep sleep. The next condition is that the child must be very small or particularly weak, unable to resist external pressure. Previously, the investigation concluded that Hong's left leg pressed on his son while he slept on his side, causing the boy to suffocate. However, Hong stated that when he sleeps, he keeps a certain distance from his son. Even if he were to turn over in his sleep, he might only place one leg on his son, not his entire leg. Hong is 5'11", tall and weighs 176 pounds, while his son was 3'2" tall and weighed 53 pounds. The maximum weight of Hong's entire left leg pressing on a part of his son would be about 15 pounds. That weight would be distributed across the contact area between his thigh and his son's back, as well as the contact area between the boy's upper body and the mattress. The distribution of weight reduces the impact on critical areas of the child, such as the nose, mouth, or chest. Therefore, experts believe that the likelihood of the child suffocating under that amount of pressure is very low, unless the child was drugged or had his nose and mouth pressed into the mattress, preventing him from moving. If that's the case, then this was not an accidental death, but a carefully planned murder. According to the latest autopsy report on Hong's son, there was a small bruise on the child's back, believed to be caused by strong external force. Based on the shape of the bloodstain on the boy's face, it appears that this external force occurred after the child had already died, as there were no signs of struggle or movement that would have smeared the blood. If Hong, who was sleeping in the room, is ruled out as the culprit, then the only other possible perpetrator is Koh, who was sleeping in another room. That night, she did not sleep, but waited for Hong and his son to fall asleep before taking action. According to the investigation, a week before Hong's son died, Koh had searched for the keyword suffocation accident online. In the early morning of the incident, Koh didn't sleep but posted a message on social media saying, "I want to sell some excess baby items." When questioned by the police again, Koh stated, "I woke up at 7 a.m., took a shower, and then turned on the computer to book a flight." If Koh went to the room with the computer, she would have had to walk past the bedroom where Hong and his son were sleeping. That day, the bedroom door was wide open, and by that time, Hong's son had been dead for several hours. When questioned about this, Koh said, "I saw them both sleeping, so I didn't go inside, and I didn't notice anything unusual in the bedroom all night." The police then raised a suspicion. Assuming Koh was the perpetrator and had put sleeping pills in the curry the night before, why didn't the forensic doctors detect them? Regarding this, Hong provided the police with a new clue. When Koh was in college, she studied biology and might have known how to make the sleeping pills undetectable. Before the incident, she had dyed Hong's hair, and hair dyeing to some extent could affect drug testing in the body. Despite reopening the investigation and all suspicions pointing to Koh, there was insufficient evidence to charge her. Since Koh's arrest on June 1, 2019, she has undergone more than 10 court trials. Koh firmly denied any involvement in the death of her stepson, only admitting to killing her ex-husband, claiming it was an act of self-defense to prevent an assault. On February 20, 2020, the lower court convicted Koh Yu Jeon of murdering her ex-husband and sentenced her to life imprisonment. On July 15, 2020, the appellate court upheld Koh's life sentence. In November 2020, the Supreme Court once again upheld the life sentence. In Kang's case, from start to finish, no parts of his body were ever found, but Koh was ultimately convicted based on a chain of evidence formed from a series of other pieces of evidence. This case has been regarded as a classic example of a no-body case in the history of South Korean crime. Following the incident, Hong filed for divorce from Koh and demanded she pay 30 million won, approximately 22,500 USD, in alimony. Hong won the case and divorced Koh in October 2020. As for whether Koh killed Hong's son, from a judicial perspective, the evidence seems insufficient, and perhaps only that wicked woman knows the truth. From this case, we cannot deny one thing. Modern society brings many pressures to people's lives. If someone develops distorted perceptions or feels they can no longer control their emotions, they should seek help from those around them in a timely manner. Otherwise, a distorted personality will only lead a person further down the path of crime. Like Koh, she single-handedly destroyed her own life and even the lives of her entire family. Her parents and brother will also be despised, hated, and perhaps shunned by society. They can no longer live peacefully in their current lives and may have to move far away to start over in a place where no one knows them. This concludes today's video from Crime Documentary Files. Thank you for watching. You can continue exploring more cases by clicking on the video icons on the screen. Goodbye, and see you next time.